The Denver Broncos have a site for their new stadium. Sort of. There have been significant developments recently about where the new stadium is set to go, and there are preliminary agreements in place. But as we will talk about, nothing is yet set in stone. But recent weeks have seen a big step towards determining where the new Broncos stadium might very well be. And it ain't Lone Tree, and it ain't Aurora. And that is good news for Denverites, the Broncos, and our entire metro. I'll explain. If you're new here, welcome. Sam Newman, Denver real estate agent. I run a real estate team here in the Denver metro. It is our goal to be your go-to resource for everything buying, selling, just talking real estate. We would love it for you to reach out. If that's you, there is a link to do so in the description. Now, let's dive in. So this is the Denver Broncos official press release. It's a lot of PR, as one would guess. Now, there actually is a lot of good information in here, and we will get to this maybe, but I actually want to start this time with a 9 News article. 9news.com, ad-heavy website, but very informative website as well. We support local. Broncos announced preferred site for new retractable roof stadium, and there is a subheader about the governor and the mayor all weighed in. So within the first sentence, there it is. Burnham Yard, it is. It will be in the Burnham Yard area of central Denver, and we're going to look at what that is. But let me just point out this article here by Mike Kliss. Yes, that Mike Kliss, if you've listened to Denver sports radio over the years, has a beautiful second paragraph that summarizes this whole thing very well. The Broncos, in a joint statement with the city of Denver and state of Colorado, announced on last Tuesday, the historic rail yard in the heart of Denver is the preferred site for team owner Greg and Carrie Penner to build a new retractable roofed natural grass playing field stadium in time for the 2031 NFL season. Journalistically, just beautiful. The way he packed so much information in there, it's a throwback. This guy is a throwback. Well done, Mike Kliss. But the point is, new stadium, Burnham Yard, preferred site, meaning everybody's on board, but it's not hammered out yet. The everybody being on board being Greg and Carrie Penner. Carrie Penner Walton of the Walton fame. Those are the owners of the team. It's going to be a retractable roof, have natural grass, and the plan is to have it done by 2031. That's really it. You can stop watching now. No, there's more. Come on. So first of all, first thing you may be wondering, where the hell is Burnham Yard? I myself had to ask that question. Well, it's an old rail yard and it's right here. So if you zoom out, see Denver, and I said central Denver, it is central Denver right here, Burnham Yard. This is the proposed, agreed upon, preferred site for the new Broncos stadium just north of the Buckhorn Exchange. If you appreciate historic Denver restaurants whose food has slipped considerably over the years. So this is a 58-acre rail yard, no longer in service, currently owned by the city of Denver, but there's more going on here. It's not just going to be a stadium. Of course, it's going to be a stadium and surrounding area, and we'll get into what all that means. But what is the surrounding area? What is Burnham Yard by? Well, the main thing is the Santa Fe Arts District. That's right here on Santa Fe. So that puts it into context a little bit more. This is the neighborhood, essentially, of the Santa Fe Arts District. This neighborhood, if this project goes through, will look considerably different. God, there's a lot happening in Denver right now in terms of development. If you go down south a little bit, it's also the Baker neighborhood, Lincoln Park neighborhood as well, although not too many people call it that. It's the Santa Fe Arts District, and it is just right across Spear from Cap Hill. For my money, this could affect, and again, we'll get into the scope of the proposed project. This could affect not just Santa Fe, but Baker and all the way over to Cap Hill. Now, where were we? 9 News, again, because it has just great information. Big paragraph coming up here too. The project will be funded by a private investment from the Penners, team owners, with the city and state support for public improvements, doing a lot of work there, and no new taxes. According to a joint statement from the owners, the mayor of Denver, Mike Johnston, I know you all love him, and Governor Polis, similar love felt. So this is big. Basically, it means, hey, we're not going to ask for taxpayer support. What happens a lot of times when new stadiums, NFL in particular, are proposed is they will put some sort of bond or other fundraising measure on the ballot. Hey, yes, this is a new stadium for the team, but it's going to be good for the local economy. It's going to make the city and the surrounding areas better and more vibrant. Everybody should really chip in to make this thing happen, okay? The argument against that, of course, is these are not public teams, although they sometimes may seem like it. These are privately privately held corporations. And I can hear my mom's voice in the back of my head. Well, if they want a stadium, they should pay for it. Fair, and in this case, they are. Now, as I mentioned, the part of the sentence that's doing a lot of work here is the city and state support for public improvements. As far as I can tell by looking at this, that is going to be for the infrastructure improvements around the stadium and the surrounding area itself. So not even the area with the new restaurants and parking and retail and all this little village that they like to build around NFL stadiums. That, according to information we have now, is also going to be paid by the Penners. It's the infrastructure, sidewalks, utilities that need to be rerouted or improved. Those are the things that are going to be paid for by the state and local governments with no new taxes. Now, Mike Klis goes on to adroitly point out the team stopped short of saying it's definitively going forward with building a new stadium. There's no groundbreaking ceremony or renderings accompanying the Burnham Yard announcement. They say, in a quote, "It's an exciting milestone," and this comes from the Broncos press release. "We recognize there's much more work to be done to get to the 2031 NFL season. Today is a checkpoint reflecting years of research, planning, necessary land agreements, and feasibility studies." So they've done all of that and said, yeah, this could work. Announcement marks the beginning of a much deeper phase, broader engagement with our neighbors. It basically says, hey, this is our intention, not just from the Denver Broncos, but also from City of Denver and State of Colorado to put the stadium here. A lot of rumors about where the stadium would be, and I mentioned it off the top. Two of the big contenders were Lone Tree and Aurora. Now, Klis goes on to say in the article, Lone Tree was a serious contender, Aurora wasn't. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But I do think it's a major win to keep it within the Denver city limits. Probably because I'm a sports fan, and it just seems wrong to have the Aurora Broncos or the Lone Tree Broncos, even though they're still going to be called the Denver Broncos. This is in Denver, and there's something about keeping your major sports team central that seems correct. Plus, it's an old abandoned rail yard. Why not put a stadium there? If we scroll down, it says the Penners, who are the Broncos' primary owners, are privately funding the stadium, the land, the surrounding development, and all construction costs. The city will pay for public improvements with connectivity to the neighborhood in the form of roads, exit ramps, RTD, and accessibility, according to the joint statement. And Denverite, always helpful Denver resource, has a nice little map about where Burnham Yard is in relation to the current Mile High Stadium, or Empower Field as it's currently known. What's interesting is that it is almost exactly 1 mile away from the current stadium site. Could be exactly, roughly, 5,280 feet away from the current site. And if we flip over to Fox 31 for a minute, this goes a little deeper on what Burnham Yard actually is right now. Well, as I mentioned, rail depot, rail yard that has been used for centuries. It actually predates the formation of Denver as a city or Colorado as a state. Union Pacific Railroad. It functioned for more than 150 years, established in 1871. Well, fast forward a long, long time, the railroad industry essentially collapsed, at least as far as it was known then. Had a bunch of mergers, and in 2016, Burnham Yard shut down. It was purchased by the Colorado Department of Transportation in 2021 in order to expand Interstate 25. Denver Water, Department of Water, also has about a 25-acre campus adjacent to it that the Broncos say they also have an agreement to buy. So Burnham Yard, 25 acres of this water campus, and they're going to build a stadium in the surrounding area. What is the surrounding area? It's a mixed-use district that's slated to have more than 4 million square feet available for development and will feature restaurants, retail outlets, hotel and housing options, office spaces, entertainment venues, and parks, according to the aforementioned joint statements. So a whole new little neighborhood, basically, of stuff to do and things to see, and that's kind of how these stadiums go. They're not just going to drop a stadium in the middle of an old rail yard, they're going to build around it. They also say, in the spirit of true civic partnership, the Walton Penner Family Ownership Group will privately fund this investment and work with the community, city, and states to reconnect historic neighborhoods with no new taxes. Shared public improvements will ensure benefits extend far beyond game day, better accessibility, connectivity, and multimodal transit options. So you can see they're selling the project already, and they're basically saying, hey, I know you're not all sports fans, but if we can do this, this will be better for the area as a whole. This neighborhood, we're going to make it better. People can, and I'm sure will, disagree about whether this will or in time actually does make things better. I know something like this seems awesome, but it's going to have trade-offs, of course. It always does. Everything does. So if you really like the neighborhood as it is now, it's going to look a whole lot different if this goes through. 2031 is not that far away. It is the irreversible march of progress. Like so many things, there's pluses and minuses. They mentioned, well, the stadium itself is still in the preliminary stages of planning, i.e. they don't know at all yet what it's going to be like. The initial concepts include a retractable roof and natural grass field. So they're still going to play on grass. Grass is kind of coming back. For a while, NFL teams were all putting in artificial turf. Differing opinions on that, but I think the consensus is you can't really fake grass as far as a playing surface. So a lot are going to grass. You can still grow grass with a retractable roof because most of the time it's outside. But that retractable roof is a big, big thing because this turns the stadium into merely a football venue into something that can really make a lot of money year round with concerts, with pro wrestling, monster trucks, all these big arena things that you really can't do in the winter if you don't have a roof on the stadium. Now you kind of get the best of both worlds. The other thing is if the Broncos get this done, they're almost certainly going to get a Super Bowl, which every team in every city wants because of the economic boon that it is. You kind of need, in a colder weather state, which we technically are by NFL standards, you need a retractable roof to get a Super Bowl because it's played in February. Yeah, and you could also get, it mentions here, Final Four, college football playoff games, all that stuff is now on the table. Tons of more money coming into the stadium, to the owners, to the surrounding area to a lesser degree. That is why the retractable roof. CBS News also has this interesting little article about the neighborhood where this is going to be built reacting to it. La Alma Lincoln Park neighborhood includes the Santa Fe Arts District, as I mentioned, and they interviewed a resident of the neighborhood, and he actually says he got a call from Carrie Penner, so one of the Penner ownership group, that just says, hey, we're excited to work with you. So basically the goodwill effort, the PR operation is already underway about, hey, we're going to come into your neighborhood and really change things. But this particular resident, Troy, is happy about it. He says, we always wanted something to come out of Burnham Yard, and this will be a great opportunity. And I do think that that is the most reasonable approach to looking at this because it's an old abandoned rail yard. You might as well do something with it. And just real quick, what's the stadium going to look like? Well, again, we have no idea because there aren't actual plans for it yet. But I'm over on Instagram here, Naked Denver, which is a great Instagram account to follow if you're interested in this type of thing. It's got the scoop on a lot of upcoming Denver developments. They did a little post about this, mentioned the press release here, and they did some AI renderings. So this is all speculation, but fun to look at if nothing else. Here's one that I think looks awesome. You got downtown in the background, very interesting rendering there of this is what a retractable roof stadium might very well look like and the new surrounding area. Here's another one. Oh, nope, that's the same picture, just bigger. Better look at it. I approve. Next one, no, that looks awful. That looks like the LA Rams and Chargers stadium, which is fine there. That would be a bit of a monstrosity over on that side of Denver. What else we got? No, what is this? The World Cup? Ugh. Again, these are just for fun. Hey, there we go. That looks like a good NFL stadium. As always, we'll follow the story as it develops. Like I said before, if the team and I can do anything for you, please do reach out. Otherwise, love you. Talk soon.